The demise of Osama bin Laden, the notorious leader of Al-Qaeda, was a significant event that shook the world. This video delves into the reasons behind bin Laden's burial at sea, exploring the Islamic traditions and burial customs involved, the U.S. government's decision-making process, legal and practical considerations, security concerns, international relations, and the impact of public perception and conspiracy theories. So stay connected to the end, and don't forget to subscribe and like for more amazing content. The death of Osama bin Laden. On May 2, 2011, the world received news that Osama bin Laden, the notorious leader of the extremist group Al-Qaeda, had been killed. The operation took place in Abbottabad, Pakistan, where bin Laden had been hiding for several years. The United States intelligence community had been tracking bin Laden for years, following his involvement in the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks on American soil. After years of intense efforts, the intelligence agencies finally gathered enough information to pinpoint bin Laden's location. A special operations team from the U.S. Navy SEALs, known as SEAL Team 6, was tasked with carrying out the operation. In a daring raid, the team descended upon bin Laden's compound in the early hours of the morning. During the operation, a firefight ensued between the SEALs and bin Laden's guards. In the midst of the chaos, bin Laden was located and engaged by the SEALs. He was shot and killed, marking the end of a nearly decade-long manhunt. After confirming bin Laden's death, the U.S. forces took custody of his body. The news of bin Laden's death spread rapidly across the globe, and people took to the streets to celebrate the demise of one of the world's most wanted terrorists. Why was Osama bin Laden buried in the ocean? Given the circumstances surrounding Osama bin Laden's death, there was a need for swift action to ensure proper burial. Islamic tradition dictates that deceased bodies should be buried as soon as possible, preferably within 24 hours. Delaying the burial could be seen as disrespectful and against Islamic customs. 1. The challenge of finding a burial location. Another factor that played a role in the decision to bury bin Laden at sea was the challenge of finding a suitable burial location. After his death, the question of where to bury him arose. Finding a land-based burial site for the world's most wanted terrorist presented numerous difficulties. It would have been controversial to bury him in a traditional Islamic cemetery, potentially causing unrest and attracting unwanted attention. Avoiding creating a martyr's grave. One concern that the U.S. government had was the possibility of bin Laden's burial site becoming a shrine or a symbol of inspiration for extremists. By burying him at sea, they aimed to prevent the creation of a physical gravesite that could be used to rally his followers or attract sympathizers. Compliance with Islamic customs. Despite the challenges and the controversy surrounding the decision, the U.S. government was keen on respecting Islamic customs in handling bin Laden's remains. Islamic tradition permits burial at sea under certain circumstances, such as death at sea or when there is a risk of the body decomposing rapidly. The decision to bury him in the ocean was seen as a way to adhere to these customs, while also considering the unique circumstances surrounding his death. Adhering to international law. In addition to respecting Islamic customs, the United States also sought to comply with international law in its handling of bin Laden's body. According to international maritime laws, burial at sea is an accepted practice for those who die on board a vessel. By burying him in the ocean, the U.S. government aimed to align its actions with established legal norms. Symbolic closure and removal. By burying bin Laden in the ocean, the U.S. government sought symbolic closure and removal. The act of disposing of his body in the vast ocean was seen as a way to remove him from the physical realm and to deny him a final resting place on land. It was a symbolic gesture meant to signify the end of his reign of terror and the removal of his influence from the world. Conclusion. The decision to bury Osama bin Laden at sea was a complex and multifaceted one, influenced by various factors. The U.S. government aimed to prevent his grave from becoming a symbol or target. considering the potential security risks and international ramifications. While the burial at sea generated controversy and fueled conspiracy theories, it was carried out with considerations for Islamic traditions and legal requirements. That's it for today's video. Make sure to like the video and subscribe for more amazing content.